member of the Coogee Randwick Clovelly RSL sub-branch, and it is my privilege to be the Master of Ceremonies for this special community service. We begin by acknowledging the moving prelude that echoed across the grounds this morning. Thank you to our lone piper, Mr. Barry Gray from Pipers of Distinction, and cadets from 324 City of Randwick Squadron, that was streamed to us live from the Randwick District War Memorial in Hyde Cross Park, which is situated directly opposite the Prince of Wales Hospital. Now, this location holds special significance, with the hospital playing an important role in Australia's military history, having served as a military hospital during World War I and World War II. The War Memorial, first dedicated in 1925, was rededicated last year to mark its 100th anniversary. We'll cross back to the War Memorial later in the service for the laying of the first wreath. To all those gathered, the formal service will now commence. If you're able, please stand for the mounting of the catafalque party. Parade Marshal, mount the catafalque party and guard.
Guard Commander, mount the guard. Parade attention! Parade by the right, quick!
Thank you all. For those with seats, you may now be seated. If you have not already done so, would you please turn your mobile phones aside. I now invite Auntie Lola Ryan from the La Perouse Local Aboriginal Land Council to welcome us to country.
Nagabi Nagan Alilola Nagan Gully Darawala Perus Nagan Nurnang Nalamane Bijigo Nagan Demaringo Darawalanga. Welcome, I'm Anilola and I am a Darawal elder from La Perouse, and I acknowledge that we are gathered on the land of the Bijigo people. And I introduce myself in Darawal language, and I'd like to pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to all of you present here this morning. So wonderful that you got up like at probably 4 a.m. like me just to be here, and it's a very special occasion. I'd also like to acknowledge and pay respects to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are present here this morning, and acknowledge all of our service people, past and present. It's really an honour to welcome you here to your 2026 Anzac Day dawn service. Sorry, I get a bit nervous doing a dawn service because it's such a special occasion. You want to do it justice because, you know, our men fought to and women fought to make this the wonderful country that it is today. So on behalf of my community, my ancestors, I wish you all a very, very warm welcome. We are spiritual people. We believe our ancestors walked this land with us. So may their spirits be with you, keep you safe on your journeys now and into the future, and also to protect our service people who are out there in the fields. Bujuri Nandawabi, thank you. Have a great day. Thank you.
Auntie Lola, thank you for your very warm welcome. Now, this service is a collaboration between the Coogee Randwick Clovelly RSL sub-branch as the ceremonial custodian and Randwick City Council as the event producer. I'd like to introduce some of our distinguished guests here with us this morning. Dr. Marjorie O'Neill, MP, Member for Coogee, Parliamentary Secretary for Transport. Councillor Dylan Parker, Mayor of Randwick, Randwick City Councillors. Mike Sterling, President, Coogee Randwick Clovelly RSL Sub-Branch. Captain Caden Oakley, RAN. Lieutenant Colonel Julian West. From Navy Chaplaincy, Marine Spiritual Wellbeing Officer, Leilania Curry, HMAS Penguin. Brigadier Rebecca Talbot, Randwick Barracks. Detective Superintendent Paul Simpkins from the Eastern Beaches Police Area Command and New South Wales Emergency Services. And in particular, Defence Force veterans and those presently serving. And of course, all of you who have taken the time to join us this morning for the 2026 dawn service. On the morning of the 25th of April 1915, Australian and New Zealanders landed in darkness at Gallipoli. It was then, and in the battles which followed, that the Anzac tradition was formed and the bond in which Australia and New Zealand now live was forged. In the relentless fury of the Gallipoli campaign, more than 130,000 lives were lost. These brave souls hailed from Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, France, India, Newfoundland, and of course, Turkey. Today, their resting places lie intertwined on the hallowed grounds of the Gallipoli Peninsula, as well as many other locations. A profound message attributed to Mustafa Kemal Ataturk resonates with great significance. As a commander of the Ottoman forces during the First World War, and subsequently the founder of modern Turkey, these words have become an integral part of our Anzac Day commemorations. They serve as a poignant reminder of our shared journey and the unbreakable bonds woven between our two nations. Those heroes that shed their blood and lost their lives, you are now lying in the soil of a friendly country. Therefore, rest in peace. There is no difference between the Johnnies and the Mehmets to us, where they lie side by side in this country of ours. You, the mothers who sent your sons from faraway countries, wipe away your tears. Your sons are now lying in our bosom and are in peace. After having lost their lives on this land, they have become our sons as well. Today, above all days, we remember all who have served our nation in times of war and of peace, their courage, their compassion, their comradeship, and their achievements. We honour those who have given their lives and those who have given their good health. We acknowledge the families who love and support them. This service today is dedicated to the families and loved ones of veterans and serving defence personnel who face significant challenges at home while their loved ones are serving their country overseas. These challenges may increase when the veteran returns home, and that is a sad fact of war and conflict. We recall the selfless service of Australian men and women in places near and far, on battlefields in many lands, on or under the seas and waterways, and also in the skies. We remember those who have suffered as prisoners of war and those who have died in captivity. We remember staunch friends and allies. Those who have served our nation have bequeathed to us a great legacy. May we and the generations to come prove worthy of their sacrifice. I now invite Councillor Dylan Parker, Mayor of Randwick, to deliver his address.
Good morning. On behalf of our community, I would like to acknowledge all those who are here who have served in our armed forces, their family, their friends, who have supported them and these veterans on their return, including all who are in our presence today. At Randwick Council, we are so honoured to be able to work year on year with the Coogee, Randwick, Clovelly RSL sub-branch to organise this Anzac Day commemoration. We are grateful for this ongoing partnership, and it is truly a privilege to be able to learn, to attend, to be humbled by individuals who have given so much of themselves for us and for others. Today, we gather in the spirit of remembrance and respect. It is a duty which we all, I am sure, do not take lightly. Now, Anzac Day is a day filled with symbolism, of speeches, of sound, of song, and of silence. But as important as our collective traditions are to us, which they are, it is through the conscious act of each generation choosing to remember that this day takes on its greatest significance. Anzac Day is one of the very few occasions in our national life where we stop, where we genuinely pause to reflect on what has been given to us by others for us. It is a moment for us to give thanks. We give thanks for the fact that despite the global current challenges of economic disruption, rising inequality, strained social cohesion, environmental degradation, compared to much of the world, we remain the lucky country. And most of us are lucky in that we live essentially charmed lives. We enjoy the freedom to gather like this, in places such as this. We have the freedom to build the kind of community that we want. We live lives that are broadly free from want. We have the freedom to speak our minds and the freedom to disagree. We are the lucky in the lucky country. But I do want to say this. We have all of this, not because of any actual luck. It is not our good fortune. Rather, it is our privilege. A privilege of ours because in times past and in current day, others have foregone their own. as Australian servicemen and women know all too well, in our Australian history, our so-called luck has not always been a given. In fact, so often it has been paid for by others. It has been paid for by our Australian servicemen and women, foregoing their finite time on this earth with friends and family, foregoing the pursuit of their careers, the enjoyment of their relationships, their friendships, their bodies, and for too many, foregoing their lives. Our privilege, our luck, is to a great extent the product of their sacrifice for us. Now, our national history is littered with examples of peril, where our leaders have failed, where calls from empire led the young of a young country to foreign shores in the name of unabashed jingoism. In many ways, our foundational moment also serves as a fitting reminder for today of the frailties of the world and the very real consequences of political, cultural, and diplomatic failure. But these are debates for historians, and they should not spoil our Anzac Day, this or any other, because our very ability to debate this history is a product of our privilege, which has been paid for by others, the product of their service. What is beyond debate is that in all of the flux, there has been and remains and will continue to be a constant. Those who have put on the uniform and their unwavering courage. We gather in remembrance and respect for the individuals who served and continue to serve selflessly. Those who spent long periods away from family, the family who waited for their loved ones to return. We gather to recognise all those who looked after us in wartime and out for us in peacetime. Those who volunteered, those conscripted, those injured, and those lost. We gather not to forget. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you to Randwick City Council for your ongoing support to the veteran community of the eastern suburbs. I now invite Marine's Spiritual Wellbeing Officer, Leilani Curry, Royal Australian Navy from the Navy Chaplaincy at HMAS Penguin, to provide us with the opening prayer.
Good morning. Please join me in prayer or use this moment for quiet contemplation and personal reflection according to your own traditions. Dear Lord, we remember with thanksgiving those who made the supreme sacrifice for us in times of war so that we may enjoy peace and security. We think of those who have offered their lives that they may not have died in vain. We are grateful to the veterans here today and across our nation who live with the memories and injuries of service, forever changed by their experience. Help us to overcome the barriers that divide people and nations one from another. On this day, reminded of the cost of war, we dedicate ourselves to the cause of justice, freedom, and peace, and reflect on our need for wisdom and strength in order to build a better world. Amen.
Thank you, Leilani. In a moment, we will hear from the South Coogee Public School Choir. This school has a strong connection with the Australian Defence Force, with many students hailing from defence families. They will be singing the incredibly moving song, Lest We Forget. Thank you, South Coogee Public.
Some memories will stand.
poignant song sung beautifully by the students from South Coogee Public. I now introduce our guest speaker, Captain Caden Oakley, RAN, who will deliver the 2026 Anzac Day Address. Captain Oakley joined the Royal Australian Navy in February 1991 and has dedicated more than 3 decades to the service of Australia across continuous and reserve service. He began his career as an underwater controller, acoustic warfare analyst, submariner, serving aboard HMAS Otway and Ottawa. He then progressed through the senior sailor ranks to petty officer and was later commissioned and qualified as a weapons electrical engineer. He holds a Bachelor of Engineering degree with first class honours, and Captain Oakley's seagoing service includes postings to HMAS ships Anzac, Ballarat, Parramatta and Perth, where he supported the introduction into service of Australia's first Indigenous naval radar system. He is deployed extensively in support of Australian maritime operations, including service in Antarctica, East Timor and the Middle East, including participation in Operation Resolute. His operational experience spans the leadership of maritime boarding teams, complex guide and weapons activities, and multinational exercises. Ashore, Captain Oakley has held a number of senior technical and strategic appointments, including postings to the Australian Maritime Warfare Centre, leadership and specialist Navy engineering recruitment, and a posting to Washington DC supporting joint United States and Australian missile defence programs, for which he was awarded the Navy Marine Corps Commendation Medal. He was subsequently appointed as Fleet Weapons Electrical Engineer and later Life Cycle Engineering Officer for the Navy's guided missile destroyers. Promoted to Captain in 2023, he currently serves as Director of Fleet Engineering, responsible for the professional standards, safety and future leadership of Navy's engineering workforce. Captain Oakley is the recipient of the Defence Long Service Medal with 3 clasps, recognising sustained and dedicated service to Australia. It is a privilege to invite Captain Caden Oakley to deliver the 2026 Anzac Day Address.
On this date, in 1915, against the half-light of dawn, the 3rd Brigade of the Australian 1st Division and the New Zealand Infantry made their landing on the Gallipoli Peninsula. From the moment their rowboats touched the shoreline, they were out and fighting for their lives upon a narrow beach, hemmed in by steep hills from which intense Ottoman fire rained down upon them. 16,000 Australian and New Zealand troops made landing that fateful day. By the next morning, more than 2,000 had been killed or wounded. And by the time the Allied forces were eventually evacuated from the peninsula at the end of 1915, more than 8,000 of our soldiers had perished. Their sacrifice was ultimate. The impact on those left behind, immense. And for a nation that had only been federated 13 years before this Great War began, Australia was forever changed. That following year in 1916, the first Anzac Day commemorations were held in towns and cities like here, all over Australia and New Zealand, and the tradition that we honour today was born. The Anzacs were commemorated not as victors of battle, for the campaign had fallen far short of its military objectives, but more as the embodiment of service and sacrifice to the nation. Those soldiers who could still march, marched with pride. Those who could no longer march were driven, many in convoys, accompanied by the nurses who attended them in their hours of need. Those who had lost their lives in the campaign or over the months that followed were held in the hearts of families and friends and encapsulated in the ode of remembrance and the haunting words, "They shall not grow old." The Anzacs are eternally ageless, but as years have passed, our nation has continued to age and to learn from the experiences of these historical moments. With each passing year, we reflect on the grave cost of war and the need for those who lead our service women and men into battle to remember the weight of responsibility this bears. We must always remember and aspire to the Anzac spirit. The first Anzacs were remarkable because of their courage in the face of uncertainty. Regardless of backgrounds, differences and quarrels which may have existed, they trusted one another and the cause they were a part of. They relied on the person to the left of them and to the right of them, and they never left a mate behind. This spirit was cemented on the Western Front, the siege of Tobruk, along the Coogee Trail, and in many battles that followed. And over the years, as we increasingly committed troops to humanitarian and peacekeeping missions around the globe, Australian and New Zealand forces also became known for other virtues, eventually evolving to our current values of courage, respect, integrity, and service. For me, this day is deeply personal. I was born in Vietnam and became an orphan during a time of war. During the fall of Saigon, I was evacuated and brought back to Australia, where my new family and country embraced me and gave me opportunities to start a new life. At the age of 18, I decided to enlist in the Royal Australian Navy, to give back to the country that had given me a second chance and to repay this kindness in service. I hope for you, it is a day in which all of those who wear or have worn the uniform of this country, and all of those of you who have met or known somebody who does, can reflect with pride on the tradition you are now all an integral part of. I also hope this day reminds us of the legacy we must uphold. The Anzacs of 1915 could not have conceived the Australia of today. Our communities look different, our Defence Force looks different, the people who serve and the paths that lead them to service are more diverse than ever. Unfortunately, the nature of conflict continues to be complex and often unclear. Modern military service may involve peacekeeping, maritime security operations, disaster relief, or supporting communities at home during fires and floods. However, no matter what circumstances we find ourselves in, the Anzac tradition grounds us. This is because its enduring relevance is not about war and glory. It is about the service and sacrifice each uniformed member gives every day. Anzacs were doing their duty for their country, the people they loved, and the communities they represented. These are the real values that were forged in 1915 by our forebears. We know that it is our solemn responsibility to uphold them today and into the future. Here at Coogee this morning, our veterans, serving members, families, locals, visitors, and travellers from all over the world. Some have deep personal connections to Anzacs, and we warmly welcome others who may be encountering Anzac Day for the first time. For the younger generation of Australians, remember, you are our future and the torchbearers that will keep the Anzac spirit alive and continue to make Anzac Day relevant. Those who lost their lives were on average in their early 20s and mere teenagers like you. That we still remember their sacrifice and their strength of character is a reminder to each of us that no matter what our stature in society, our individual actions can leave a lasting legacy. We are all strands of the fabric of this nation's history, and the Anzac spirit is not confined to those in uniform. It is alive in the marches, the cenotaphs, and the RSLs around this beautiful country today. It is in the silence after the last post. It is in the hearts of families, friends, and communities who support our women and men in uniform, and also holds us accountable to standards that would make the original Anzacs feel their sacrifice was not in vain. May we honour those who came before us, lest we forget.
Thank you, Captain Oakley. We'll shortly hear the poignant song Salute, sung by Steve Cheers and accompanied by the South Coogee Public School Choir. Whilst this song is being played, I would ask that all official wreath layers move to the wreath desk in preparation for the wreath laying ceremony. Salute is a poem by the Australian writer Sidney Elliott Napier, who served with the 1st Australian Imperial Force in World War I. His poem was then published in the Sydney Mail newspaper whilst he was editor in 1937. Steve has created a tribute to the poem by setting it to original music, which he released for the 110th anniversary of the Gallipoli landings. Thank you, Steve, and thank you, choir.
The sound of their farewell cheers, soothing but never resting, the march of your natural fears. You who've loved will remember the glow of their glad young years, as you stand today to salute them again, in silence, with pride and with tears. Out of the peace of the dawning, into a fury of flame, up through the valley of shadow, to the light of the world they came. And right down the road of the nations, brought on a banner of fame, with the opulent blood of their youth time they painted Australia's name. You who have loved will remember, though these whom you've loved have died, though the and the ways of the world are wide. Though Gallipoli's graves may hold them, and her whispering waters hide, the years have no power to part you, nor the width of the world to divide. And today as you stand to salute them, fate will be here at your side, for their time in the sun's what this day has become. We salute to their memory with pride. Oh, their time in the sun's what this day has become. So salute to their memory with pride.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you to the choir. Now for our wreath-laying ceremony, which will be led by Erica Williams. Erica served in the Royal New Zealand Navy as a Lieutenant Maritime Logistics Officer for 11 years, transferring to the reserves in 2024. Erica has joined the Coogee Randwick Clovelly sub-branch and is a member of the committee. There will be an opportunity for members of the public to lay wreaths at the end of the service. Thank you, Erica.
Thank you, Russ, and good morning, everyone. We will begin the wreath-laying ceremony at the Randwick District War Memorial in High Cross Park, the former site of the Anzac Day Coogee Dawn service. Please direct your attention to the screen as we observe a wreath being laid on behalf of the Randwick community. The wreath will be presented by the 324 City of Randwick Squadron, Australian Air Force cadets, and will represent the Army, Navy and Air Force. Laying the Anzac wreath here at Goldstein Reserve, Captain Caden Oakley RAM and Coogee Randwick Clovelly RSL Sub-Branch Committee Member Griffith Eldridge OAM. Laying on behalf of the Australian Defence Force, Brigadier Rebecca Talbot, Senior ADF Officer, Randwick Barracks and Commander 17th Brigade, and Warrant Officer Class 1, Kimberly Keeley, Regimental Sergeant Major, 17th Sustainment Brigade. Laying on behalf of Commander 2nd Division, Colonel Paul Graham. Laying on behalf of the La Perouse Local Aboriginal Land Council, Auntie Lola Ryan. Mayor of Randwick, Councillor Dylan Parker. Dr. Marjorie O'Neill, MP, Member for Coogee and Parliamentary Secretary for Transport. RSL New South Wales and the sub-branches of the Eastern Metropolitan District, President Mike Sterling and Vice President Lieutenant Colonel Louise Kirkwood. Laying wreaths for the Randwick City Council, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Claire Willington and Councillor Dexter Gordon, Councillor Carolyn Martin and Councillor Christy Hamilton, Councillor Philippa Veach and Councillor Aaron Magna, Councillor Mazumi Asghari and Councillor Daniel Rosenfeld, Councillor Alexandra Luxford and Councillor Andrew Hay. On behalf of Kensington RSL Sub-Branch, Ken Murray and Lynn Cumming. Laying for Coogee Diggers Club, Olivia Kirkwood and Emma Belcher, accompanied by Director Louise Kirkwood. On behalf of Coogee Legion Club, Michael Carter. For the Rotary Club of Botany Randwick, President Simon Van Wyck and Harley Stibbett. And on behalf of Coogee Beach Club, Dominic Sullivan. Representatives of 324 City of Randwick Squadron and Cadet Warrant Officer Class 2 Lucas Chen, with Cadet Sergeant Sebastian Finn of Sydney High School Cadet Unit. Laying on behalf of New South Wales Police Eastern Beaches Area Command, Detective Superintendent Paul Simpkins. On behalf of New South Wales Ambulance, Charlotte Edmonds and Lloyd Galpin. And from State Emergency Service, Chief Inspector Peter Struck, Randwick Commander, and Inspector Terry Papas, Deputy Randwick Commander. The Coogee Surf Lifesaving Club, Governor Tony Waller OAM and President Ben Heenan. The Clovelly Surf Lifesaving Club, President Susie Peterson and Club Captain Dominic Winkle. The South Maroubra Surf Lifesaving Club, Theon McCabe and Andrew McCabe. And for Surfing New South Wales, Matthew Lawson. For the Randwick Petersham Cricket Club, CEO John Stewart and Dale Hackney. From Coogee Dolphins Junior Rugby League Football Club, Mark Stevens and Rick Allen. And from Randwick District Rugby Union Football Club, General Manager Mark Harrison, and for the women's team, Club Captain Grace Kennedy. For Randwick Netball Association, Lily Enos and Judy Cabovilla. For the City of Sydney Basketball Association, Andrew Lazarus OAM and John Flanagan. For Coogee Bay Precinct, George Ruminas. And on behalf of our local schools, students and representatives from Randwick High School, Randwick Public School, Coogee Public School, Clovelly Public School, Marcelin College Randwick, Claremont College Randwick, South Coogee Public School, Bronte Public School, Corpus Christi College Maroubra, St Mary's Catholic Primary School, St Anthony's Catholic Primary School, St Bridget's Catholic Primary School, Our Lady of the Sacred Heart College Kensington, Our Lady of the Sacred Heart Catholic Primary School, Waverley College, St Catherine's School, Sydney, Thank you to everyone for your wreath laying. And for those who would like to lay a wreath, please feel free to do so at the end of the service.
Thank you, everyone. It's now time to reflect and silently remember all those who have served and died in war. So I now ask Lieutenant Colonel Julian West, CSM, to recite the ode. Lieutenant Colonel West has served in the Australian Army for 35 years, deploying on combat and peacekeeping operations in Bosnia, East Timor, Iraq, Afghanistan, and the Middle East. In 2025 King's Birthday Honours List, he was awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal for outstanding leadership and achievement for his work on advanced collecting training for the 2nd Division, significantly enhancing its operational readiness. This year, Lieutenant Colonel West has also been recognised in Randwick City Council's Honouring Service Banner campaign. A committed member of the Coogee Randwick Clovelly RS sub-branch and the local surf lifesaving community, Lieutenant Colonel West lives in Randwick with his wife Carly and daughters Chloe and Lucy. The ode will be followed by the last post, 1 minute silence, and then reveille. Our bugler today is Warrant Officer Stephen Johnson from the Australian Army Band, Sydney. For those able, please stand.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them, lest we forget.
Parade 8-10. Parade General Salute present. Arms. Parade 8-10. Please stand at ease.
You may now be seated. We'll now have the national anthems of New Zealand and Australia. I'd like to invite our performers to the stage as they will each perform one after the other. Introducing Brendan Huey, who will be performing the New Zealand anthem accompanied by the Bondi Brass Band, followed by Amber Lawrence, who will be singing the Australian national anthem, also accompanied by the Bondi Brass Band. For those able, please stand for the national anthems.
Parade attention. Parade General Salute present. Arms. Parade stand at ease.
Thank you, Brendan and Amber. You may now be seated. Thank you to our anthem singers and to Ian McClellan from Pipers of Distinction. Please stand for the dismounting of the catafalque party. Parade Marshal, dismount the catafalque party.
Parade attention. Guard Commander, dismount the guard. Parade stand at ease.
For our last performance this morning, we have Olivia Coe-Fox performing I'm Australian in both Yawuru and English. Thank you.
Please be seated. I came from the dream time.
Thank you, Olivia, for that magnificent performance. Before I conclude, I will ask you to stand as the Parade Marshal will dismiss the parade.
Parade 8-10. Parade right in 3's right. Turn. Parade by the left. Big.
Thank you. Please be seated. On behalf of the Coogee Randwick Clovelly RSL sub-branch and the veteran community, we would like to extend our thanks to Randwick City Council for the continuous support of this service and for financial and in-kind contribution to the Coogee Anzac Day dawn service. Thank you to Randwick City Council staff, including events, communications, waste, cleansing, public safety, open spaces, transport and roads, and ranger services teams. Thank you to all of our distinguished guest speakers this morning and to our anthem singers, the Bondi Brass Band, South Coogee Public School Choir, our piper Ian McClellan, the HMAS Watson Catapult Party, and Guard Commander, Petty Officer Nathan Arnold. Parade Marshal, Flight Lieutenant, Australian Air Force Cadets Mitch Clark, cadets from Sydney High School Cadet Unit, Waverley College Cadet Unit, and St Catherine's School Company, 306 Squadron Darlinghurst, and 324 City of Randwick Squadron. We also thank the local emergency services, including New South Wales Police Force, Randwick SES Unit, and St John's Ambulance. And thank you to everyone who has laid wreaths this morning. The support of these people and organisations has assisted our sub-branch and Randwick City Council to produce a memorable service that maintains the importance of Anzac Day. Thank you to our President, Mike Sterling, and the sub-branch members who have dedicated their time and efforts to make today so special. The live stream video of this morning's service will be available on Facebook and the Randwick City Council website. This morning, the sub-branch is providing complimentary breakfast at the Coogee Diggers Club for all serving and ex-serving veterans. We also encourage you to visit some of the amazing coffee shops located in the area this morning, and so as to support these local businesses. Council has programmed live music at the Coogee Rainbow this morning until 11 a.m. Make sure you head over and have a listen. And Legacy Club Services will be handing out Rosemary today in Goldstein Reserve. Please show your support. In closing, on behalf of the entire community, I again thank the men and women of Australia and New Zealand for their selfless service in keeping our magnificent nations safe and free. For serving and ex-serving members in the audience this morning, please consider joining RSL New South Wales and your local sub-branch as we transition the oldest ex-service organisation in Australia into the future. Any members of the public wishing to lay wreaths may now do so. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending the 2026 Anzac Day Dawn service, and good morning to you all.